ever feel like you're absolutely bombarded with information and overwhelmed by it all? Like if you think about it, you're constantly being told what to do, when to do, and how to do it by literally every person out there, whether you know them or not. Social media, the news, the newspaper, your friends, your family, your colleagues, everybody's got an opinion, right? Sometimes it's hard to separate the wheat from the chaff, or the good stuff from the absolute rubbish. Well, today's episode is all geared towards helping you do this. And the way we're going to do it is to help you become more of a critical thinker. So stay tuned, folks. Today is all about being a critical thinker and helping you to reduce that sense of overwhelm, reduce that sense of busyness, and absolutely cut through a lot of the noise. Hi again, everyone. My name is Eddie Rakanui. So in today's episode, we're going to help you become more of a critical thinker. But what the hell is a critical thinker anyway, right? So a critical thinker allows you to make evidence-based decisions and use those decisions in your processes, how you're going to do things. This moves it away from the knee-jerk reaction stuff that we often see, where one person makes a comment and then you get some keyboard warrior jumping in and throwing their 2 cents worth in. And then you find out hard to differentiate between the two. Which one of these two is more accurate? It's hard to tell because they're both so emotive, right? They're pouring a lot of emotion into their responses. Being a critical thinker helps you separate the emotion from the facts. And that's what you're going to look at doing. We want to make evidence-based decision-making rather than emotion-based decision-making. All good. So stick around and we'll see what we can do, eh? This is not just something that people in Ivy League schools get to hold on to. This is literally something every single person on the planet is capable of doing. Critical thinking is where we move away from a lot of the knee-jerk or emotion reaction, can't even spit it out. It moves away from the emotion-based decision-making processes that we have and moves it into evidence-based decision-making processes. This allows us to strip away a lot of the noise. You know, the phrases like fake news and biased and personal opinions and subjectivity and all that. Like all of that actually has a role. So what we're looking at doing is we're looking at sifting through that and focusing on the facts, or at least what we've understood to be the facts. Cool. So stick around because being a critical thinker is going to benefit you in both your personal and your professional relationships. And it's a really powerful mindset to have. Can't wait to share some of these tips with you. Okay, so the very first step that you're going to require in terms of being a critical thinker is to question assumptions. Questioning assumptions can be hard. It's basically where somebody tells you this is what it is, and you say, why? Yeah. Not a lot of people like hearing that question, why, but it is one of the most powerful questions that a person can say, and it's obviously one that kids have really got a handle on. Why? What you'll find is that a lot of processes that people use in business or in their personal lives have actually lost the origin or the value for why they were put there in the first place. Whenever I go into a business and they do things a certain way, I'll say, why do you do it this way? Sometimes you'll get a response and it sounds valid. Sometimes you'll get a response and you know that person's making it up on the spot. Being a critical thinker and asking those kind of questions and questioning those assumptions is just a super powerful way of cutting through a lot of the noise. You will find untold efficiencies in asking that question, why? Because you're questioning the assumption. So make sure you do that, okay? You're looking for people's evidence that supports their claim. They tell you they do this for a certain reason. Ask if you can see the evidence that supports that. Once again, it's often not their fault that they're doing it because it's always been done that way. That's simply the case. But by you questioning those assumptions, you actually help them make progress as well, and they'll start to find efficiencies in their processes. All right, now here's another key thing that you're going to want to employ or use if you want to be a critical thinker. You've got to use logic and reasoning. Often people will throw out things like straw men, where they basically put up an argument, but it's not really what you're discussing, and they've basically taken some of what the argument or debate was about and manipulated it. This is an often used tactic, and you see it happen a lot with politicians, believe it or not. What I'd encourage you to do is to keep to the facts. Stick to the facts of what's known and question what's unknown as well. When you use logic and reasoning, once again, it helps you strip the emotion out of the argument, and that's going to be critical. It's critical, excuse the pun, for your thinking. Because the more emotive you are, the more drawn in emotionally you are into an argument, the harder it is for your brain to separate the fact from fiction. Using logic and reasoning is going to be a superpower in helping you to be a critical thinker. Okay, so let me give you an example of how critical thinking is going to benefit you. Let's say you're an employee. You work for a company and it's pay raise time. You want to know, well in advance of that pay raise meeting or cycle, what you should be earning. Now, you could go into that meeting and you could say something like, you know what, I flogged my guts out this year and I'm pretty angry that I haven't been rewarded already, so I demand a pay raise. Sure, that's one way of asking for it, and I can probably guess the response that you're going to get as well. Or you could take a critical thinker's approach. You could do a little bit of research and find out what the market rate is for your role. You could also dive in a little bit deeper into the value that you've added to the role. For example, in the time that you've been there since the previous pay raise, you've learned more about the processes, what's needed to be done. You know more about the people involved, so you can streamline those processes. You also understand where the roles and responsibilities lie. So once again, you can get things done faster. There's a little bit of the politics that happens within an office or a work as well. That's something that you can pick up on. But also, no matter what, your experience in the subject matter is allowing you to become an expert. You're literally becoming a subject matter expert. All of those things are valuable and they should be as part of your critical thinking process if you were looking for a pay raise. That is an example of the difference between an emotionally charged decision or an evidence-based decision-making process that's used by top quality critical thinkers. Give that a try. So what are the benefits of being a critical thinker? Well, have you ever made a decision, sometimes rashly in the heat of the moment, only to look back on it and think, man, I wish I'd have done that differently? Often it's because you've made that decision based on your emotion, or you haven't taken into consideration all of the facts that were available to you. Being a critical thinker gives you time and headspace, and those are incredibly powerful if you want to make better quality decisions. Being a critical thinker means that you can reflect on all the evidence that's available, and you can ask this impressive and super powerful question, why? That question is key to being a critical thinker, and that question is going to help you unlock all of the benefits that come with being a critical thinker. Remember, by giving yourself a little bit of time, a little bit more headspace, you can make better quality decisions. And that's what we all want, isn't it? Awesome. So now that you know the benefits and how to be a critical thinker, it's time for you to start putting that to good use. As always, pick one or two of the strategies that I've suggested and start with those. Start small, build your way up. Being a critical thinker is like any other kind of muscle. The more you flex it, the stronger you'll get at it. If you're looking for further reading, I would suggest a book called The Art of Reasoning by David Kelly. It's often recommended for people that want to start building up their ability to be a critical thinker. Also, you can look for online courses or mentors or coaching programs that can help you with this. Of course, I'm biased and so are my clients, so you can always book in some time with me and I can help you unlock the superpower of yours. Hey, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I trust you took a lot of value out of this episode. As always, remember to click that follow and subscribe button so to make sure you get the latest tips and strategies to help you live a life you love so you love life more. Bye for now.